Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 8 p.m. update of our incoming winter storm across the Gulf Coast. Want to do a quick update. I know the National Football, College Football Hall of Fame game is going on right now, but you probably get to watch this a little bit later. So, did want to go over just kind of some of the updates in case you aren't aware of what we're expecting through the day tomorrow and into tomorrow afternoon, and possibly even lingering through Wednesday morning here across Georgia. So here's kind of what we have going on. We have a winter weather advisory across much of the Atlanta metro area that you can see there in the purple shading, and a winter storm warning for areas off further to the south. This goes into effect tomorrow morning starting at 10 a.m. In the winter storm warning area, we could see accumulations up to 3 inches possible, especially over portions of west central Georgia, like Columbus over towards Butler, even getting close to Macon, Thomaston, down toward Albany. That region, I think, is going to see some of the highest snowfall totals. And even those could potentially exceed 3 inches. That's not out of the question. Up here further north along the I-20 and I-85 corridor, we do have a winter weather advisory that is in effect. We're expecting up to an inch of snowfall accumulations. Northern counties here in this winter weather advisory here, kind of north of 285 and north of 85, up toward Gainesville, just south of Canton, Alpharetta, those areas. The snowfall potential is still a little bit uncertain as far as impacts with that, but there is still the potential for a brief period of some snow. Further south and east you go, that snow potential increases. So likely would see more snow for a place like Stone Mountain than you would in Alpharetta, Georgia, and even more for a place like Loganville than Stone Mountain, and more toward Madison than Loganville. So the further south and east you get away from Interstate 85, the higher the snowfall totals are going to be. And regardless of what actually falls, anything that falls is going to have significant impacts across Georgia just because of the current ground temperatures. Temperatures are already down in the 20s. Tomorrow, we're not really expecting temperatures to really get above freezing. If so, maybe just for a couple of hours, and then quickly plunge back down into the teens for Wednesday morning. So really this area in white that you see, we're looking at precipitation again, an inch or less across this area, and then closer to the 1 to 2 inch mark here further south, and then this dark blue shading, possibly 3 inches, maybe even a few spots higher than that as well. Again, down toward Columbus, over toward south of Macon, maybe in like the Cordele area, that area, over toward Abbeville, could see some of those higher snowfall amounts tomorrow. So this northern extent of the snow line is going to be really, it's going to be dependent on we talked about it last night, but really it's going to be dependent on the moisture profile that we're going to be seeing tomorrow through the day. If we see higher dew points, a little bit more moisture, and it doesn't take as much evaporating coolant to get those snowflakes to the ground, then we could again still potentially see higher amounts than are even forecasted. Believe it or not, interestingly enough, the national, this is crazy. The hurricane hunters right now are actually out on a mission investigating this low pressure system that we have going on in the western Gulf of Mexico. And I'm kind of curious if if they have. Yeah, here we go. So this is the Hurricane Hunters track, and this is their most recent dropson sounding that they've got. And this here shows us there is again a good amount of moisture here in the upper layers of the atmosphere, and then there's this dry area from just below 800 millibars to about that 900 millibar area, and that's the area, the level, I should say, of concern that we're keeping on our eye on, especially here in places like North Georgia, to see how quickly, as the snow falls, how quickly does that erode that dry layer of air away, which would then allow snow to fall all the way down to the ground. So this data is going to be able to be used for this evening and overnight model runs that will be taking place, which will really help us here in Georgia to allow us to be able to really accurately depict, okay, how far north or south is that snow line going to be. And so I think once National Weather Service offices start getting some of that data, we'll see adjustments to those forecasts even as late as tomorrow morning, around 8 or 9 a.m. I think by then we'll really have a good idea as to, we'll be able to look at the live radar data. We'll also have an idea of what the temperature profile may be looking like throughout the day, what the current humidity levels are like, the dew points, all of those different factors that are coming in. A lot of area schools across Atlanta have already canceled or gone to remote learning for tomorrow, which I think is great. Because again, this could be maybe not quite as a impactful event as 2014 that we saw, but it could have similar features to it where everything is fine in the morning, and then by 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon, we could get a big burst of snow across the area that could quickly dump an inch, and again, potentially more than that on the area roadways, which would lead to major travel problems through the rest of the day on Tuesday and on into Wednesday. Again, Wednesday morning temperatures are only going to be about 13 degrees, so we're not going to be seeing any snow that does fall. We're not going to see that melt really at all till Thursday, when temperatures get into the upper 30s and potentially close to that 40-degree mark on Thursday. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on the development of the rain, of the snow line across North Georgia tomorrow afternoon, especially between noon and 2 p.m. to see how far north does that get. Does it get north of the Interstate 85 corridor? And just kind of going back, looking at this here again, this shows us what we're looking at as far as tomorrow. I know it says rain chance, but really this is more really snow chance we're talking about here. So we can see lower chances further north, about a 15 to 25% chance. And then further south, we're looking at a 25 to 40% chance, which includes the Atlanta metro area, most of Gwinnett County, Walton County, and then higher amounts the further south you go. And you can see down here from Columbus through Americus, that's where we're going to have those higher snowfall totals that will be expected. But it is definitely still, in all honesty, still too early to really get a good view on what we have going on here with our snowstorm. Now, I do want to show you real quick. This is the current radar. So this storm is now starting to come together this evening. We're seeing that center of low pressure that is developing off the coast of Texas, and we're already seeing these snowfall reports coming in across Texas and even over here into portions of Louisiana. We're starting to see that as well. And this will just continue to ramp up here through this evening into the overnight hours across these areas. But I am curious, again, this is north of San Antonio. We're seeing this snowfall up here, up toward Burlington, Texas, Temple, Texas, seeing these snowfall reports here. Again, this is within the last 30 minutes, seeing snow reports coming in across this area. Even up here toward Dallas, Texas, we've seen some snow reports as well up there. So I think this is going to be very telling to see how big and how expansive does this snow shield get. The further north that this snow shield gets tonight, the further inland penetration that we're able to get with this snow shield overnight, that is going to really be a telltale sign for how far north we get. And I mean, we're already, you can see here, it's basically up to the Texas-Oklahoma line. So assuming that this low is able to kind of just track from west to east, you can see Dallas, Texas is not quite due west of Atlanta. It's almost due west of like an area like Macon, but there's snow already on the north side of Dallas. So if you were to, draw a line going across, you can see that with this system moving from west to east, that shows us that there is the potential that we could see. We will eventually likely see this, as long as the temperature profiles hold up, we'll eventually see all of this activity move its way off to the east, across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So that's really when I'm seeing this, I'm seeing all this snow here and all these snow reports that are coming in across the area, especially here in central Louisiana or even south of Monroe. Already getting snow reports coming in, snow, ice, grapple, mixed precipitation down here. Even over here toward Natchez, Mississippi, we're already seeing some different snowfall and mixed reports over here this evening here at 8 o'clock. So we're definitely going to be in for a long evening and overnight hours across these areas. We're going to have to watch as this low develops, kind of really get an idea of the track. But I do think we will have impacts here across our area as early as late tomorrow morning, and then really by tomorrow afternoon. I think the 1 to 2 o'clock time frame is when Atlanta could see some of those higher impacts across the area. So we'll keep you updated throughout the evening, and again through the day tomorrow. We'll be doing updates as much as we can. I think by tomorrow morning here across Georgia, we'll really have a good idea as to what we're expecting. But when I'm looking at this expanse of the system that we're seeing with this snowfall, it really is a bit more concerning for our area. I think if we can get those dew points to be a little bit higher than currently forecasted, I do think we'll see further north penetration of that snowfall area here across Alabama and Georgia. So I definitely think they were well warranted with issuing that winter weather advisory for our area here across North Georgia. So this is definitely something we're going to have to keep a very, very close eye on. Again, any snow accumulations that do happen, we are going to see hazardous travel conditions out there on the roadways. Any back roads, side roads, none of those here in Georgia have really gotten treated. They've been focusing obviously on the state routes, interstates, things of those natures, the major thoroughfares. Those they've been treating throughout the day today here across Georgia, but back roads have not been treated. So once snow starts falling, we are immediately, it's going to stick pretty quick. It's not going to be like the last storm that, it took a couple hours for it to actually stick to the ground. The ground's already cold enough. Right now, we're sitting at about 25 degrees at Hardisfield-Jackson Airport. So I do think by the morning, as we continue to get this data from the Hurricane Hunters aircraft tonight, and that gets put into our forecast models, I think we'll see some of that new data kind of translate over. So I do want to take a quick look, real quick, before I wrap up this live stream, at the latest high resolution rapid refresh model. Let's get here, because this is just now coming in. And I'm not sure how quickly they're getting this new data into this model, but hopefully it's starting to get in there a little bit as we have um, as we are able to put that in here. So this is the new 00Z model that is coming out. We only have the first 19 hours out, but that should give us a pretty good idea. This is the 1 kilometer above ground level reflectivity. And I will show you one thing with this. So this is what we think is going to actually reach the ground. And yeah, it just goes out through about noon. So we can see here through noon. It's kind of going here. Gets to about the south central Georgia area by noon, 1 o'clock. But again, that's what they're thinking. I want to also show you this. This is what we call the composite reflectivity. And this is everything that is actually occurring in the air. And you see the further north extent of these snow showers, we'll call them, going all the way up here into central Mississippi, even up here toward Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So there are snow showers that are, overhead and ongoing. The question is how much of this activity actually reaches the ground. So this is 2 o'clock. You can see all the way up through Birmingham, even here through Atlanta, and then further heavier snow showers down here south. But there are indications of snow showers here along the I-20 corridor that we see. But the reflectivity with the precipitation type doesn't pick it up because of the potential for that layer of dry air. So if that dry air erodes or it's not as strong, which some of the latest model runs have shown, even in the last 36 hours, we have seen some of these soundings, the dry air, the gap, so to say, has weakened. It's grown shallower. We can see this huge moist layer of the atmosphere just above the surface, and then here's this dry air. And if we look at the previous run, so this is the current run. If we go back to the previous run, same time, look how drier the previous run was. Look how far to the left this green area is, how much separation there is from the green to the red. And let's go back even to the previous run before that. Again, it is even more pronounced. So one thing that is concerning with these, this was earlier today. This was about 4 or 5 hours ago. Really, in the last 4 or 5 hours, we're seeing this forecasted dry layer of air from 5 hours ago, extremely dry layer of air at 850 millibars 5 hours ago. And now here at the 00Z run, we're seeing that layer of dry air really begin to erode. As you can see here, it's not as significant as it previously was. So if this trend continues here through the overnight hours and into the early morning hours, I do think that we will be increasing our probability of accumulating snowfall across much of the Atlanta metro area. So that is definitely something that I'm just now looking at this with you, and that is definitely a notable trend here with these forecast soundings. This amount of dry air, which again, with less dry air, that's a quicker time that the snowfall is able to penetrate through that dry air, saturate that layer of dry air, and eventually reach the ground. So that is something we're really going to be keeping an eye on. And that area that I was looking at again was pretty much right here in southern Gwinnett County on the east side of Atlanta. If you come down here to like Columbus, Georgia, for example, you can see again much uh, large moisture plume there on the sounding, really, really moist all the way down below 850 millibars. So, and that's why you can see right here down at the bottom, best guess precipitation type, snow. So we'll really have to keep an eye on this through the next couple days because we are starting now to see some of these. This is even here in Gwinnett County now, starting to see this indication that we will likely, in fact, be getting some snowfall tomorrow afternoon. Right here, best guess precipitation type snowfall. You can see right here where my mouse is. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this amount of dry air and these temperature profiles overnight and into the morning hours tomorrow. So, but again, we'll keep you guys updated. Hope you guys have a great evening, and thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, share, and subscribe this video. Share it with a friend that lives in the area so they can get the information that they need, and stay safe out there. Remember, guys, we are still in this long duration cold event as well, so make sure you're protecting your plants, make sure you're protecting your pets, pipes, and population. So protect yourself, keep your skin covered, especially if you have anything to do in the morning. Frostbite will be able to set in within 15 to 30 minutes in some areas across far north Georgia, where we get down into those single-digit wind chills again tomorrow morning, into the teens as well. So it is going to be bitterly cold out there throughout the day tomorrow and again on Wednesday. So make sure you're taking your precautions. We'll see you guys on the next live stream. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your evening.